Have you ever wondered why a fantastic local business, one that's been around for literally decades, is basically a ghost online? Well, today we're going to break down a case study that shows exactly how a 40-year-old painting company completely turned that around. I mean, it's a huge problem, right? So many companies are incredible at what they do, but they just don't show up where their customers are actually looking. So let's dive into the story of a real-world company that totally cracked this code. All right, so first up, let's set the scene and meet the business at the heart of our story. They were a massive success for years, but they were facing a really modern challenge. Okay, so this is Newlin Painting, a family-owned company that's been serving communities in Northern Virginia and West Virginia since 1981. We're talking 40-plus years of experience. They were experts at everything from houses to barns, you name it. They had an amazing reputation, but in today's world, word of mouth, well, it just wasn't going to cut it anymore.
So before they just started, doing stuff online, they did something really smart. They stopped and defined what winning would actually look like, because a good plan always starts with clear goals.
And their goals were laser-focused. First, they needed a digital storefront, a clean, professional website that actually worked on your phone. Second, they had to be findable for those super important painter near me searches. The ones people type when they really need someone now. And third, they wanted to completely dominate Google Maps. Because, let's be honest, for a local business, that map pack is the new front page. Okay, so let's get into the strategy. Let's see how all this stuff actually builds into a complete plan for getting that local visibility. It's not just one thing. It's about making everything work together. Their game plan had 3 core pillars, and each one built on the last. It started with their own turf, the website. Then it expanded out to their presence across the whole local internet. And finally, it was all about building a reputation that search engines would actually trust. Let's break down exactly what they did in each step. So step 1 was all about their home base, the website. They built a clean, fast site, which is absolutely crucial, not just for people visiting, but for Google too. But here's the real genius move. They created specific pages for specific towns they serve, like a page just for Leesburg VA Painting. They also made sure to put all their amazing reviews and photos front and center to build that instant trust. Next up, they focused on everything that happens off the website. This meant totally maxing out their Google business profile. That little map box that pops up in search? It also meant making sure their name, address, and phone number were perfectly identical across more than 60 different online directories. And finally, they added something called schema markup, which is basically a special code that helps Google understand exactly what your business is all about. Now, this idea of NAP, it's so interesting because it seems ridiculously simple, right? Name, address, phone number. But for Google, consistency equals trust. When it sees the exact same information on Yelp, HomeAdvisor, and dozens of other sites, it gets really confident that you are who you say you are and you are where you say you are. And that right there is a massive factor in local search rankings. And the final piece of the puzzle, step 3, was all about building authority through what you could call digital word of mouth. They focused on getting other trusted, local websites to link back to their site. Think of it like a vote of confidence. A link from the local Chamber of Commerce, for example, is basically telling Google, hey, this painting company, they're legit. They're a respected part of our community. So that's the whole game plan. A great website, optimize local profiles, and getting those trust-building links. But did it actually work? Let's take a look at the results. And the answer is a huge yes. Now look, this stuff doesn't happen overnight, but after just 3 to 6 months of this focused work, the impact was absolutely impossible to ignore. First up, a massive win. Organic website visits from people searching in their service area went up by over 40%. Just think about that for a second. That's a huge wave of new potential customers finding them directly through a simple Google search. And here's the really important part. That new traffic wasn't just for looks. It translated directly into a 30% increase in actual customer inquiries. We're talking more phone calls, more contact forms filled out, more people asking for a quote. That's real business. And when you see it visually like this, the difference is just staggering. They went from their old baseline level of traffic to this significant, sustained jump, all of it driven by local customers who were actively looking for a painter. So when you look at the whole scoreboard, it's pretty incredible. They shot up in Google's local 3-pack, that's those top 3 map listings everyone wants. They got that 40% traffic boost, which turned into a 30% jump in leads. And on top of it all, their amazing 4.9-star rating just sealed the deal, building all that online trust. So what's the big takeaway from all this? The most crucial thing to see here is that there's a repeatable formula. This isn't magic, it's a playbook that works. The entire strategy that Newlin Painting used so effectively can really be boiled down to 3 simple, core principles that pretty much any local business can use. And here it is, the Why It Works playbook. First, have a localized focus. Win the searches that actually matter in the areas you serve. Second, use trust signals. Show off your great reviews and your history to build instant credibility. And third, have a clear conversion path. Make it ridiculously easy for a visitor to go from looking to becoming a lead.
So as we wrap this up, I want you to think about your own business for a second. When you look at this playbook, focus, trust, and conversion, which one of those principles represents the single biggest opportunity for you right now? Because running that one play could be the first step to totally transforming your own online presence.